this movie was kind of goofy at times, like the whole scraping at the door scene. I do think it was kind of better than the first movie. Controversial opinion. Most people didn't really care for the first movie. But most people also typically agree that this movie sucks and the first movie was decent. I think they were both pretty boring and they both had their moments, but they both aren't very good movies. But personally, I like this one better, entertainment wise. They also have like two things I want to talk about before I forget. There's this dude that makes people decay. He's introduced way late into the movie. He is a character that was in the entire movie, but like they eventually are just like, yep, you have superpowers now because the devil gives them to you. Anyways, he has to kidnap the kid, which he's been trying to do throughout the entire movie, but now that he has this power to decay anything he touches, all of his men are dead. Like, throughout the movie, he keeps losing men. There's the guy that slams this kid's face into a car and says oops and laughs about it. He gets killed. There's the one dude that's barely overweight, but he dies because he gets stuck in the car because he's too fat. And he says something about eating Twinkies, which is kind of ironic because later we see the decaying guy, same guy that told him that, to lay off the Twinkies. He eats a Twinkies later in the car. And he dies, and then eventually his right hand man gets killed by the mom when she shoots him. So he's lost like all of his men. So he has to carry the boy. But if he carried him, he would kill him, right? And then there's a weird thing with Nicolas Cage where he's trying to decay Nicolas Cage when he's not even Ghost Rider anymore. And then it just kind of disappears. He scratches a little thing on his forehead. He's in big pain. And then just a few seconds later, it's just magically gone and he's fine. I don't understand what's going on. I also have like this this wine thing that they're gonna drink after they win or whatever. They even say that. But he drinks it, a little bit of it, then throws it as a distraction and kills two guards. And he's like, what a waste of good wine. Contradicting, one of their own lines. That, like, hey, they're gonna drink this after the fight. Yet he randomly just decides to drink it during the fight and waste it. It's 2,000-year-old wine. They also changed the Ghost Rider design in this movie. Not a huge fan of it, Ghost Rider wise, but the design is fine. It just doesn't really remind me of Ghost Rider. Maybe Robbie Reyes is Ghost Rider, but definitely not Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider. But yeah, it definitely wasn't a very good movie. They also have the G slur in here twice, which from my understanding wasn't considered a slur around this time, but definitely seemed like one in this movie because when he uses it, it's clearly used as an insult. But, badly aged movie that's not very good anyway, so. We also have corny lines throughout the movie from Ghost Rider, which he didn't really talk that much when he was Ghost Rider, if he talked at all in the first movie. And at one point, when he kills the decaying dude and he says roadkill, he just sounds like Johnny Cage. So you have a movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. No, not Johnny Cage, Johnny Blaze. He just sounds like Nicolas Cage. Doesn't even really sound like Ghost Rider in that scene. No way. We also got to see Ghost Rider pretty far into the movie. Not far in. Pretty early in, unlike the first movie where it was pretty far in. You also have a piss joke. Or like he pees fire. Oh, and the biggest problem that I almost forgot to mention that just bothered me personally was like every time the Decay character was on screen, he'd have like this pitch black screen and he would like kill the people, and then once he was done killing people, it would go back into like a movie form. It's just such a weird editing style choice. It bothered me every time. Like, what is going on? So definitely not surprised about the whole budget cut thing. That shit was just fucking weird. Oh, and they had like random animations throughout the movie. And they somewhat explain why the devil is a different actor in this movie. Like, oh yeah, he's human, so his body dies fast or whatever, because he's not supposed to, be in a human body. It wasn't meant for that. And he's an old man in this movie for some reason, even though he was a younger dude in the first movie. I get he has to switch bodies, but why would he go for an old man if his is not going to last long anyway? And from my understanding, he lasted like a good 10 something years in the first movie, at least, in a human body. So why is it just different now? It's very different movie. Didn't really care for it, but I also kind of liked it better than the first movie, though.